The Matthew Books. Matthew, Tell Me About Heaven, a first-hand description of the afterlife by Suzanne Ward, published by Matthew Books. Part 2, Nirvana. Animals. Suzanne, Matthew, are Freckles and Snoopy and Charlie there? Matthew, all of them are here. And also your dogs I never knew because they came to you after I left. Of those, Tango is the one that's most often with me, probably because of the unique bonding between him and you and me, but he spends most of his time with Esmeralda. Suzanne, I'm so glad he's there with you and her. After all these years, we still miss that little guy. Are all Earth animals there? Matthew, most of them, but not all. It's not that those who aren't here are unworthy, but only that the nature of some wild animals is not adaptable out of their native environment, and we don't have zoos or cages. The whole family of large cats, for instance, do have temperaments that are malleable for living peaceably when they're out of the food chain environment of Earth. So they all are here, and of course, your pet cats are too. Suzanne, why can't all of our fierce animals be adapted to live there? Matthew, some animals' DNA just can't be adapted to a gentler temperament. The rhinoceros, for example. Its brain doesn't allow for the transmutation of that fierce energy into something benign, so it is one that cannot enter or survive in our refined density. It was more practical to transmute the energy of all the non-adaptable animals into positive life forms than to make the effort to turn them into household pets. But we do have masterfully realistic holographic forms of those animals for teaching purposes and the delight of our children and adults too. At the opposite end of the animal life scale are our beloved dolphins and whales, the most intelligent and spiritually evolved of all. Here, their bodies are far less bulky than on Earth, but they still are adapted to marine life, and their personality is unchanged. On Earth, the huge form of the whales is required for holding the light frequency in their environment and for communication. But that isn't necessary here, as ideal circumstances have been created for them. Not all of their cumulative Earth energy is in this realm, only enough to create the human-whale energy bonding. It's somewhat the same situation with your fish. The basic energy of overall fish life there is created here in only 24 or so species with brilliant colors and extraordinary features and shapes. But we do have all the familiar and exotic birds of Earth. All of your farm animals are here, of course, and elephants, camels, all the herbivores you have in zoos, except the rhino. We have snakes, but those that are poisonous there aren't venomous here. You may not be overjoyed about the snakes, Mother, but you'll be glad to know that we have butterflies and no nuisance insects. Suzanne, great! No more fleas or flies. Matthew, do animals there remember the people and animals in their Earth lifetimes? Matthew, beloved pets do indeed remember their Earth human and animal families. However, it is by love energy bonding and not by active memories such as you have, with images and recall of voices. Their bonds don't need memories to keep them intact. Suzanne, so animals really do feel love? Matthew, absolutely, Mother. When animals receive loving treatment, not only do they feel the love given them, they feel love in return. It is the energy principle of like attracts like, but it is more than that. Animals have an innate capacity to feel many emotions that too few people attribute to them. The higher the level of intelligence, the wider range of possible emotions the animals may feel. Dogs can experience almost all the emotions humans do, except those that can be called sophisticated, like deceit, doubt, encouragement, the types of sensations that you learn through indoctrination and experience. Suzanne, I've always felt that animals had feelings like ours, but I'm glad for this confirmation. When animals that live together on Earth reach your realm, are they drawn together by love bonds too? Matthew, animal energy is attracted to other animal energy because the same wavelength is involved. When love bonds are present, and often they are, a special frequency on the wavelength reaches the animals, and just as with humans, they are reunited by choice via the love bonding. When an animal dies and leaves good friends there, they sense a difference since its departure, but their brains can't register this with a reason, and no images of their buddy are in their minds. Once the others start arriving here, they will be drawn to that first friend and eventually to all in their group because of the bonds they established there. Suzanne, do animals have memories during their lifetimes here of their good or bad experiences? Matthew, not explicit graphic memories such as you have, but a memory energy. Let us say that a dog was severely abused and neglected for a year in its first home, then came into a family who cared for it conscientiously and kindly the rest of its life. If the dog developed behavior problems in puppyhood due to its traumatic experiences, the effects of that maltreatment remain lifelong in the dog's memory energy and are evident as its behavior. It is the deepest core of the brain cells that are affected, and the natural reactive behavior does not need to be accompanied by actual memories. However, the behavior may be softened if the dog receives only loving treatment in its second home. This cause and effect pattern is true of all animals. I should add that work like yours, finding caring families for homeless dogs, is helping to strengthen the entire light network. Those animals who had been living in fear or deprivation no longer are emanating the negativity that their former circumstances were causing. I know you feel guilty because your primary interest is helping dogs, even though you see great need elsewhere for assistance too. You are inspired to do what you are doing, just as others are inspired to relieve human suffering, or preserve endangered species, or clean up the environment. All these types of assistance are invaluable in dispersing negativity or transmuting it into the light energy that is preparing Earth for her ascendance into a higher dimension.